Hi there, my name is Kendrick, and today I get to interview Thomas. So, Thomas, welcome.
Hello, how are you?
Good man, good to have you here. Um,
Thank you.
can you please tell us what your full type is?
I am an ESFP jumper, MF, consume, blast. No, wait, I got that wrong. Play, blast, consume, sleep. Told you I'd fuck it up, but that's all good.
I was like, you're doing this on purpose.
That's why I gave you the heads up because I knew I was gonna fuck it up.
Yeah, yeah. No, because like we just talked about this, like human being like messing with me. But anyways, it's all good, man. It's all good. It's all good. Um, so what did you think, and how did you feel when you got your typing results back?
Oh, when I got it back, I was, how do I put this? Confused. Felt like my world got turned upside down because like it wasn't really what I was expecting. Because I don't know, like I typed myself as some kind of like INFP kind of thing, and then when I got it back, it wasn't anything that I thought it was, and I just like me personally, like throughout my whole life, like I value being like introspective and being self-aware, and to be like off like by half the coins, I was like, whoa. But and like also like the side tangent here, like I got the results Christmas Eve, like 2 p.m. And like I was on my way to go pick up my sister for like family dinner and stuff like that. And so I was like, this is the best time to get this. Like my head's spinning and now I have to go like interact with family and stuff like that. It was a nightmare. But anyway, like I took everything on board. Like Shannon, Dave, and everyone's like, you always like type yourself wrong. Just go with it. Like try and connect the dots. And I just spent the next couple of days like going, oh yeah, that actually does make sense. Like I am like DE, I am a bit people pleasing. SE, I didn't think I had SE at all. But yeah, that was interesting to me because like a lot about SE is actually like the physical world and like the physical world, the outside my body just like bores me. It's not of interest to me. I'm always like tuning it out. And then I kind of realized like the reason why I'm tuning it out is because I'm taking it all in all the time and it's overwhelming.
Right. It's I think also people are fascinated with their demons because it's more interesting than your like saviors, you know. So
Yeah.
um and I think the first thing I noticed while you were making that little um explanation of your experience was you were doing a sensory report too of like what happened, like an ST report. So you can't run from it, dude.
You can't. And like the more like I understand my type, the more I can just see myself doing it all the time.
Yeah,
And it's like whenever I tell a story, it's like I always hate like SE stories. They always just throw out a bunch of random bullshit and they rarely like get to the point.
right.
And like I was like, okay, like someone's asked me a question. I'm about to tell a story. Don't throw out a bunch of random shit. But I can't help it. Like I have to throw out a bunch of random information and then slowly somehow connect it together.
Right.
And just seeing myself do that in real time, trying not to do it, just
Yeah.
doing it anyway.
That's so funny. All right, dude. Since we're in this topic already, and you're already talking about it, how do you experience your double activated ST play, SE and TE? Like, what's going on there for you?
That's an interesting one because I only managed to click onto like how that is like within the last couple of days because like I'm a very introverted person in like the traditional sense. I'm very shy and recluse, not really interacting with anyone. And like whenever people talk to me, like I don't know what to say. I'm not interacting with people. And then when people interact with me, I'm always shutting the conversation down so I can go back in my head, go back into imagination land. But what I've come to realize was like, I don't think like what I realized, like when I first started my job, I work at a supermarket. So I was about 20 when I started. And like looking back then, I was like, I was very like lead play. I was always like going above and beyond, trying to get lots of shit done. Customers, like, they're annoying, but I was always like putting on a happy face, like, I'm happy to help you. What else can I do for you, mate? Haha, like, I'm here to help, kind of thing. And then, like, over the years of like seeing, my colleagues like not put in the same amount of effort, how they're just like, I know like everyone thinks they're the hardest worker at their job,
Right.
but so I'm just being another one of those people. But I could see like they're not working as hard as me. They're standing around talking. And like over the years, like that got to me. I was like, I can't be like them. Like, I'm better than that. I got to do what's right. And just over the years, just seeing it, like, why am I burning myself out for this? Like, minimum wage entry level job. I'm getting so tired. No one else cares. I'm guessing I'm going to do a little bit less effort. Like, okay, cool. Then over the years, I've just slowly just gone like, fuck it, I don't care anymore. And like, I don't know, like even in like my shit attitude that like I have now, I'm still very much like, this is the right thing to do by the customer. I better do it. This is my job. I've signed a contract saying I'll do this, so I better fucking do it. And outside of work, like, I don't see how I'm play. I seem to be like resting a lot. Seem to like be inside my head, like sitting in the bed or whatever, just kind of thinking. But I don't know. I guess like if I get into sleep mode, where like there's something like that's near and dear to me that I want to accomplish, like I'm a musician, and at some point last year, I was working on a film clip, and like I knew from like previous experiences like how to deal with this problem, how to like accomplish this goal, and it's like I need to throw myself all in, work non-stop until this is done, because I know as soon as I stop, I'm not going to start up again.
Yeah, I totally relate to that sentiment, being a fellow, play blast, consume sleep person. So totally get
Yeah,
it.
right.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same as you, except I'm an ENFP instead of ESFP. So um, and I think you working hard to do the right thing is not necessarily a bad thing, because like it means you take your job seriously. So like as you get older, it's only gonna be good for you, because like those people they're probably like self-about tribe people who think they're working hard, but if you put them on a spectrum with like actual people like yourself or other tribe about self people who's like just busting their ass for the tribe, they're not working as hard as you are, and you know and that's probably going to reflect as they get older, because if you don't put in the work, then you don't get the result. So I think maybe right now you might feel resentful, like, oh my god, those assholes are not doing as much as I am, but like later on you'll be like, oh, I'm successful, what the hell. So it's like,
I mean, that was my attitude. However, I'm still, at that supermarket. It's been over 10 years now. And like, I probably work as hard as all the other people now.
oh, I
Like,
see where it's
I've
going.
regressed down a lot. And for me to like want to put in that effort again, like I can't do it.
Okay, we're gonna work our way to your sleep eventually, and
All right,
that's where the
tough.
can of worms is. So we'll open that in a bit. Let's go with your blast first though. Um, anti blast. This is a superpower actually for you guys, the ESFPs, because a lot of ESFPs, they have anti demon or last, and it makes the ESFP that has it last have trouble figuring things out, or like understanding what's going on. So you have it second in a savior state. How has that benefited you in your life, especially you being info dominant too? Like you do have consume as well, and they're really balanced, because your blast is your third and your fourth function, and then your consume is your first and second function. So the function stack still matters. So even though your consume is a demon and your blast is the savior, they're almost pretty much equal, because the consume has a higher capacity for usage, but you're using your blast, which is actually the weaker one, supposedly for you guys, the ESFPs. So how do you personally experience that anti blast of yours?
It's interesting because it's double feminine, so it's actually really hard to use. Um, like for me to talk, it's really hard because I'm always like, I'll start talking, and then a few sentences later, I'll be like, "What was my point? What was the question again?" I'll totally get like derailed. Um, and I want to go on a side note for right now. It's like because like the first couple questions, I actually talk quite a lot. I was like, "Wow, I'm blasting really well." And the reason for that is because like I have this drink. It's called Kava. It kind of just like relaxes me and it makes you like social and chatty. So that's the reason why like I'm talking really well now. But usually I struggle quite a lot to articulate anything. Um, in terms of like, because yeah, so that's blast in terms of talking. It can be very hard to actually articulate anything. But something that I noticed last week, I was telling you before we started, like my car was broken. The central lock is broken, had to fix it. And I didn't know how to fix it, right? I just could hear like, oh, it's not locking. One of the motors is broken. I can hear it crunching. And so like, because I got blast above consume, I didn't research how to fix it. I just went straight into like pulling the door apart and stuff like that. And I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm fucking up here, but like, I don't want to research how to do it. I want to work out how to do it myself. And then when it was only like, all right, Tom, you've got a problem here. You can't solve it. Had a bit of breakdown, picked myself up. All right, pulled out fucking Google. Let's see how I fix this. Oh, okay, yeah, cool. And that's how I've experienced my blast because it's double feminine. I would just won't get the information, don't know what I'm doing, but I'll figure it out.
And then how do you balance that with your consume? So your consume is double masculine. It's SF. So um basically you're consuming what you value in the physical world. How do you personally see yourself using that?
Well, I guess there's two parts to that question. In terms of like getting information, I get really frustrated because like Google, like whenever I type into Google, I expect the information just to be there. I don't like going through like many pages and like many Google searches to fucking find the answer that I want. Because like Google's just full of ads and people have gamed it so they get there, they come up at the top of the search. I find that really frustrating. Um, and then in terms of consume, in terms of like personal kind of like pleasure, like entertainment and information gathering, it's double masculine. So like I'm very, very particular in what I like. Um, and so I just kind of look at things like, I don't know, movies or songs and stuff like that, like straight away. Don't like it, don't like it, don't like it. Oh, that looks cool. And everything kind of needs to be deep and meaningful. Like I expect everything to be like The Matrix or Schindler's List. I want entertainment like that. And so when I just see kind of garbage, I'm just like, oh fuck this shit, this is dumb. Um, and so like I just end up watching the same things all the time. Like I've seen The Simpsons a million times, but like I'll go through to like Disney Plus or like Netflix, scroll through everything, can't find anything that appeals to me. All right, Simpsons for the 10th time. All right.
All right, dude. Time for the can of worms here. NF sleep. This is the last one. There's a lot of parts here that we're gonna explore because there's definitely several parts, and I didn't want to explore the other animals as much because I think this is the one that like this is the good stuff here.
For you, it is. For me, I'm not going to have a good time.
I mean, yeah, that's exactly right.
I
But
feel like, yeah, I feel like this interview is just going really quickly, and you're just like, yeah, let's get to the part that you're going to hate, Tom. Like,
yeah, no,
let's
we
make
gotta
you all awkward on camera.
let's go to the meat. Hey man, I maybe that's just your attitude towards your fourth animal. I like my SF sleep last. So um anyways, oh you're lagging a bit. I'm gonna go wait until like you're back to non-laggy. Okay, seems like Thomas froze.
Really catching up. You're only like 3 seconds behind.
All right, we're back, guys. Thomas was he didn't want to talk about his NF sleep, so the internet broke.
I ran away, had to hide under the bed, and you dragged me out.
Yeah, exactly. All right, dude. Let's jump into for the internet dice again.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's several parts. But I want to talk about the one that is like the most obvious here. So you've been working in a supermarket for 10 years. Um, I'm wondering, have you ever gotten a chance to go into that NF sleep and ask yourself, what is the meaning of my life? Like what have I been put on this planet for? And where do I want to go that will make me happy, FI happy, or fulfilled? Because NF is
I mean,
fulfillment, right? Have you ever gotten and asked yourself those questions?
all the time, like when you're a kid, as soon as you can talk, first questions people ask you is like, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah.
And like, I never had an answer to that. And like, even in high school, didn't have an answer. In my 20s, didn't really have an answer. But I did like music. And
Okay.
in my 20s, like, I was in bands, and like, some of the bands I was in were like really good. Like, we could have been superstars, And I was like, I'm not sure if I want to do music as a career, but since I'm with these really cool people making good music, like, you know what? Like, here's this opportunity. Let's go for it. And like, I'd throw myself all in. And I don't know, like, we can go into more detail, but long story short, like, it didn't pan out. And like, that was kind of like the reason why I was at the supermarket. It was like, this is easy for me to do. I can just turn up, do my job, leave, get money, and I can focus on music. So I'm just going to stay here. I'm not really going to think about a career. The music hasn't panned out, and still at the supermarket. And I don't know what I want to do. A couple of years ago, like, I went back to school to do disability, to work in that sector. Couldn't get through school, dropped out. And like, this morning before coming to this interview, I was talking to my sister because she's like a careers counselor. And like, I've been talking to her over the last couple of years. And like today, like, she's like, what do you want to do, Tom? I'm like, I don't know, got nothing. And I don't know. She suggested ideas. And one of them was, being a carpenter. And like, that's not appealing to me at all. I don't want to do that. However, I kind of tapped into my sleep mode a little bit. And I was like, I don't want to be a carpenter, but I do have this dream one day of like having a house and making it my own, customizing it to my needs. I'm like, well, those carpentry skills would be very handy for that. So maybe I should consider being a carpenter, even though it sounds like a job I'm not going to enjoy. And yeah.
So it sounds like you've been playing with your SF consume, but it's not quite NF yet, because it's lacking the purpose and meaning behind it. Because it's doing like cool stuff, like building customizing your house and stuff, or playing music. But I'm looking for like the meaning behind it. Like it's like this energy that wakes you up in the morning. You're like, I can't wait because I'm behind something so important that I cannot I cannot waste any time, like I need
I
to.
mean, I've had that like with music,
Right.
had that with like lots of little things I've picked up over the years. Like, I remember trying to start a podcast and stuff like that, and I just would throw myself all in. Like, as soon as I wake up, like, all right, let's get to work. Um, but nothing would ever pan out. Like, I would just lose momentum,
Right.
and yeah,
have
just
have you so you also have demon consume, so I can relate to a lot of the stuff that you're talking about here, because it also took me a long time to find out what I wanted to do with my life. So it's not like, it's not like it's not uncommon, everyone, especially like people like us with like sleep class, it takes longer to get there. um but have you thought about like, Dave and Shannon always talk about like you need to leave the nest and go somewhere far, because if you're staying in a nest, you're not gonna be able to grow as a person, essentially. So if you've been working in the same supermarket for 10 years, it means that you're in kind of the same area, right? So have you thought of like uprooting yourself and going somewhere else and see what happens?
That's the scariest thing to me, you know? It's like, of course, I've thought about that and I've attempted to do that, but going to another job and just having that demon NI, like that, I can't predict the future. I don't know how this is going to turn out.
Right.
What if I don't like it? What if the people are shit? What if like the business goes defunct and like I lose my job or whatever? And it's just like, that makes it really hard to actually commit to something to go, yes, I'm going to do that, even though like, sure, like I may be fine, but my mind kind of just catastrophizes, you know?
Right. Right. No, that's that legit fear, especially with like Demon and I. So I don't blame you. Um, where in Australia do you live right now?
Oh, I was going to point to the screen, but you can't see. I live in Melbourne, so
Oh, Melbourne. Okay,
just to the bottom of Australia.
gotcha. So have you thought of like moving to like a different big city like Sydney or like Perth or like one of those places or Brisbane or even New Zealand? I don't know.
See, if I was going to go anywhere, it would either be Tasmania or maybe South Australia.
Oh, Tasmania. Okay, cool. Yeah, because I'm hearing you talk now, and I'm like, I'm using my NT play to puzzle things out, and I'm like, and I'm looking at my own life and like how I came to my conclusions, because like SF sleep is all about conclusion, right? Like you came to a conclusion about
Mm-hmm.
how what you want to do with your life, essentially, like what you prioritize as the most important thing. And for me, like travel is like one of the biggest piece for me, just because I had more materials to work with, and I knew like based on places I've been to, like what brought me joy, what brought me no joy, and I can kind of I have all those pieces to work with. I know what makes me happy essentially. So I feel like you're missing pieces, especially you because you have demon consume also. The good news is double masculine, so you can if once you get started with that, you can go really crazy and you can massively upgrade, But I feel like you do have to take that leap of faith, and it's scary for you because you have demon NI, and I'm like, oh, right. It's a little bit easier for me because I have NE first. So when I look at future possibilities, it's my first function, right? It's a savior. So I'm like, oh, it's positive, it's great, but yours is a demon, so it's negative, right? And I'm like, oh shit, because I don't even know what you could do with that, because like that's tough, man. That's really scary for you guys. Like, yeah, have you thought of like what's the word I'm looking for here? Like dipping your toes in the water, like going to some places and see like you just scope it out and stuff, Because I think you need to like rattle yourself, otherwise you're not gonna move, man. You're gonna be stuck.
I mean, moving to another city, like, yeah, I've thought about that, but it's just gonna be the same problem. Like, what do I want to do? What do I find meaningful? I don't see how changing city would do that. Um,
What
I
what
remember
what makes you say that? I'm curious. What makes you say that? That's a
because
big that's a big statement to say.
I'm just gonna go to the city and it's gonna be the same thing, same problems. Why would my thinking change in a different city?
Because you've got a new experience. You have more pieces to work with.
If anything, like I have less pieces to work with because it's a strange city. I don't know it. I don't understand it. I don't know anyone. It just seems like a lot of problems, you know?
Yeah, but you're an EP, dude. You'll figure it out. This is your power. You're an EP, man. EP. This is like the superpower to EP. When shit hits a fan, you're gonna be the guy that will somehow find your way out. I'm pretty sure you've been in like worse situations, and you're like somehow you worm your way out. Is that statement not true?
I don't want to work my way out of a problem. I want to work towards something, you know?
Right. No, I get it, but I'm
But
just saying. I'm just
it,
saying if like the worst case scenario happened, you could worm your way out of it.
I guess,
Yeah.
I guess. I
Okay.
mean, like, this was years ago, but like I remember like moving to another part of the city that was like really far away from my work. So I was like that was like an incentive to find a new job. And like I don't know, like I did a little bit of effort to find a new job, but not enough.
Right.
I just stayed. I just stayed at the supermarket that I was at, and I just moved back to where I was living essentially. And it's just like, 'cause I remember having the mindset like, work on this. You need to get a new job. Find something. You're gonna like put your head down, Tom, and just do it. And I didn't. 'Cause it's just like whatever job I look at, it's just like I don't want to do that.
Oh, okay.
seems it seems dumb, seems unfulfilling, and like because I said like I was really into music and I wanted to make a go of it, and I put so much effort into it, and so like that was kind of like my sleep, doing music.
Right.
And when I look at it now, it's like sure, like I haven't accomplished what I wanted out of music. I like I want to work on it, but at the same time, like I kind of don't because I feel like what do I achieve out of music? Oh, I can win some awards or something like that. People like my music, become a superstar. Cool, whatever. That doesn't seem fulfilling to me.
Right. Right.
Um, but it's better than like being a carpenter.
Right.
Just building staircases.
Yeah, I guess so. Um, okay.
It's
I want to ask you some question about your NI because like this is kind of a like so obviously you have NI in the bottom and you can use it, but not as well as obviously like the INTJs do. Um, what do you see when you look into the future with that NI of yours when you do peer into it? Because you do have NT blast, right? So there is a part of you that is touching that NI in a savior state, which is the NT stuff, right? So you can plan long term logically for the tribe because it's blast, right? Not for yourself, for the tribe. So you've probably given someone an advice that maybe you went home and you thought, hey, that could also work for me, Like I don't know. Have you
yeah, I guess. NI is a hard one. I'm struggling to see it, but obviously I use it. Like I have to use it, or else I couldn't function. Um,
Yeah, and dude, earlier before the interview started, you were saying you clearly use your NI because you said I can't have this car looking like this. I'm not gonna get a date. It's like you future projected what's gonna happen when your car wasn't working. So clearly you use your NI. So it's being used.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it is. I mean, to me, when I thought of that, I was like, oh, that's more double deciding, like understanding the tribe's perspective and what I want. Oh, I don't care if my car's like this, but oh yeah, like other people will, and oh yeah, okay, that's not going to bring people into my life, which I actually want. Okay, yeah, better fix this problem. Um, yeah, like I'm starting to notice some things how I'm using my NI and how I'm narrowing down. Um, I mean, this isn't answering your question directly. This is more of a random story that I have that made me realize that I was using my NI. Because like I was talking to my friend and like he wasn't NIing, and then like like the story was like, so my friend, I was like, hey, I went to Sydney, I saw friends, we did these things, um, we're all into this personality thing, and it was really cool meeting people who had a similar personality to me. So that's me like NI this whole weekend down to like three things, and my friend just like he must be some kind of like IP because like he just like dismissed it. He didn't take any bait of that. He didn't ask any more questions about me. He just started talking about himself and his week and just giving this very like detailed like every single piece of information of his like week. I'm just like, why are you telling me all this? This is boring. Can't you just narrow it down? And then I was like, oh, okay. I just use my NI.
Right.
The
Yeah,
t-
you did.
yeah,
You did. Yeah, there you go. Yes, you clearly use it then.
yeah. And the thing that makes it hard for me to like understand what NI is because it's supposed to be personal, whereas like narrowing down doesn't feel personal. Um,
I think maybe because you have savior blast, so you like to be concise and straight to the point, you know.
I do.
But
Yeah.
like I don't know if you have any concepts that you personally own for yourself, because NI is like your own concept, right? You might, because you play music, right? So um
Yeah. Um, some concepts. All right. So this is another story I recently had talking to people that made me realize I use my NI. We're talking about like sugar versus like artificial sweeteners and other natural sweeteners. And it's like, we're talking about, because I've done the research, it was a long time ago, but I was just like, me and my friend both had the exact same information, but we just kind of like interpreted it a bit differently. Whereas like, because I was just like, yeah, it has these health effects. I don't care personally because sugar is way worse or whatever. Who cares? Like, there's a better option of the other two. Whereas she was like, nah, strictly bad, whatever. And then I've kind of realized like, oh, the way that I take in artificial sweeteners, that's me and I've taken in all this information, decided what matters to me through my FI, and concluded I'm stuck to it. Um, yeah. Does that make sense?
it kind of does. I feel like it's incomplete. I feel like you're getting there, but it's not completely like honed in yet, not completely narrowed down, but it's getting there. It's like you're doing it, you chip away at it, but you stop and you went back to your SE or something, kind of deal,
Yeah.
but anyways, I want to ask you another thing about NF sleep.
All right. Yeah.
Code, do you have a personal code that you adhere to? So a lot of like Jocko Willing, discipline equals freedom, that's a code, right? um um what's his name? David Goggins, another ESFP jumper. He always talks about having a callous mind, that's kind of his code,
Mm.
like toughen yourself up, that like the mental pain doesn't hurt you anymore because it's all calloused up, right? So do you have like a code that you follow, like anyone of your quadra that normally has a code that they adhere to? And those guys have NF sleep class like you do, so clearly you can have it if you want it. You can have one, so
I'm struggling to think of one on the spot, but there is something, I wouldn't say it's a code, but it's something that I find really amusing. And it's, what is it? General rule of thumbs are used by novices and idiots. And that's touching on something you were talking about, where it's like I've narrowed down two kind of things. And it's kind of like the way I view it is like, it's my NI telling me not to use NI. Like, there's always like nuances and extra information out there. Don't make things so simply. Take in the whole perspective. Whenever someone offers you something nice and neat and simple, tear it apart. Find out what's really going on. There's always more information. There's always alternative perspectives, alternative ways to do things. Don't settle down on one.
yeah, I feel like that's a mix of being info dominant and also your demon consume. I feel like it's like a mix of that, so it's
Mm-hmm.
it's 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 not bad because it uses your demons consume. So like in my opinion, anything that like forces you to use your demon is good. So
Mm-hmm.
the only thing missing now is for your actual sleep. Like what code can you have for yourself that would force you to use your NF sleep? I think that would be good because Jocko Willing, discipline equals freedom. That's awesome because as an EP, discipline is gonna be like the hardest thing, right? And then David Goggins is like callous mind. It's like he's gonna keep running, and he's a DE, but he's gonna be the DI. And he is, because he's gonna outperform everyone else because he can take the most pain compared to everyone else. That's why he runs
Mm-hmm.
like 100 kilometers and stuff. I don't know if you know any of these people, by the way, but like,
Yeah, I do.
okay. Um, but anyways, like those are just examples. Obviously, other people with that quadra, they have their own code and stuff. Like my girlfriend, she's an INTJ, so her code is what is it? It's discomfort over resentment, right? So that's a good one because like it's better that you um let's say you're in a conflict with someone, well, better you speak up, which is gonna be uncomfortable, than to feel resentful later on when you go home and you didn't say anything, right? So like
Mhm.
I think that's a good one to have. Or Steve Jobs, I think his mantra is be curious, stay foolish, which I think is good because he's an INTJ, right? So stay curious means like be more like an EP. You like open your mind, don't narrow down too quick. And then be foolish means like go make a mistake, and it's good for him as an IJ because he's scared of chaos. So mistakes are chaos, right? So he's like, I'm gonna let in new and I'm gonna let in chaos. So that's like an awesome like mantra for him as an INTJ. Um, like obviously like the ENTJs and the ISFP, they would have their own version of that. That's that's for them. Like do you know the Undertaker? Do you watch WWE?
Can't say I do.
Okay, okay. Well, they type an ISFP in the class. He's a wrestler from WWE. His name's the Undertaker. Um, and he just retired. And um, his mantra is treat everyone with respect, because for every person that you step on your way to the top are the same asses you have to kiss on your way down. So I thought that was a really good one, because like if you treat everyone with respect, then you don't have to kiss anyone's ass. Everyone's gonna be like good, right? Everyone's like equal,
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I thought that was a really good like code. So I don't know if that like gives you some idea of like what like to look for yourself for like that NF
I
code.
mean, like that Jocko one's pretty good. Like discipline equals freedom. Like
Yeah,
I've had something along those lines before. Um, I'm not sure if I learned it from him, but yeah, I've definitely used that mindset. But like, it's hard to apply all the time.
right.
But like, yeah, like when I'm in an upward spiral, like it's definitely that. Like, keep doing it. Like, who cares about what I want in the moment? Like, let's move towards something.
Right. Um, I'm gonna push that aside for a bit, and I'm gonna ask you another question. This one's a little bit deeper, but I'm gonna ask you this anyways. You've been working in the supermarket for 10 years, and part of that NF sleep is like planning long term, obviously, for your future and stuff. Um, is there a part of you that feels scared that you could be in the supermarket 10 years from now still?
Oh, 100%. Like, that's where I see, like, the way like I am now. Like, I will be there in 10 years. Like, and so it's like I need to actually work on this stuff, or else I'm gonna be stuck there my whole life. And I don't know, it's really hard. Like every attempt, like I've tried to get out of there over the years, like just falling flat on my face, and it's frustrating. And just like seeing myself try and fail so many times, like it's so demotivating. I've just got this mindset of like whenever I try something and I get really excited, like I'm just about to grasp it, it fails and it disappears, and it's just like, why even try anymore? I know this is how this is going to end. You're going to put in so much effort and it's not going to eventuate, so don't try. But I can't have that attitude. I have to force myself not to have that attitude. But that's just the way my brain's wired now, and it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Hey, it's all good, man. I guess it's not hard to feel jaded after multiple failed attempts. So
Mm.
I'm by the way, I I can relate to how you feel about that, because like I've been working for like the same place also for like so many years. So I know what that feels like. So um it's not definitely not a like the best feeling in the world, feeling like stuck. My question though in regards to that though is since you do work in a supermarket, have you used your NI to see maybe you could work your way up in a supermarket and be like in management, or like and whatnot? Like, have you ever thought about like in like from that aspect? Because like if
Of
you're gonna be
course I
there
have.
anyways, might as well,
Of course I have. Especially like now that I'm in my 30s and like I'm still entry level position,
yeah,
and like I'm still on, like I'm at the same level as fucking teenagers,
right,
and it's just like they suck. I can do a way better job than them, and I should be bossing them around. I know what's up. I've clearly got the skills to like be a manager here.
Right.
Maybe I should do it. But it's also like once you step up, the company owns you. Like they'll do anything they want with you. And
What?
I was like they'll just like send you to like random stores. Like, oh, this store is at the, like an hour's drive away. You have to go work there. And it's like, all right, cool. You've got that control over me. I can't say no. But like that stuff does happen. And like that kind of scares me. And I was also at the point of like this is when I was doing my music. I was like, nah, like I'm focused on music. Let's not worry about stepping up. But at the moment, it's like, well, maybe there's an opportunity here. Maybe I should just finally like sit down and be a good Tommy and like step up in this fucking company. All right. Because it's easy and there's no, it's easy and I can do it. Opportunities there. Whereas like applying at a different company, like, oh, I have to do my research, do a resume, apply for jobs and start again. And it's a lot of effort. And I don't know. And again, it's like that demon NI thing of like, I can't predict the future. Like if I step up in the supermarket, like AI is coming, things are getting automated, the company's restructuring itself. And it's like, will even the manager position be there in like 3, 4, 5 years? I don't know. Maybe it would just be better to get out, go into a new industry that's unlikely to get affected by AI anytime soon.
Dude, that was the best example of demon and I freak out, by the way. That's so good.
I know.
That's so good, man. I love it.
That's just my mind all the time. Like
Yeah.
whatever option that I'm like, hey, maybe I should just do that. Boom, a billion reasons why I shouldn't. All negative, and there's no positives, and it's fucked, man. Like,
It is fun. I don't envy you guys with NI. That's so messed up, man. That's so bad. Like I even with people with Savior NI, I see the same problem as what you have. You know, they're also thinking, oh, there's nothing better. Might as well just like, stay the lane, right? I guess. And I'm like, for me with like NE, I'm like, oh, what are you guys talking about? There's so many possibilities. You probably need to have like an ENFP friend or something, or someone with NE, like to like talk to, because like I'm hearing you talk and I'm like, oh my god, that's so bad. Like I would hate to be in your position and like get stuck in this like mindset of like, even if I try, A is gonna take my job, I'm like, what the hell, like that's terrible,
yeah, and it's hard because like obviously I've talked about this with people, and talking about these kind of problems don't really solve anything. The fear's still there.
Right.
It's still hard to actually pick a decision.
Yeah, man, that's tough.
It's like I always had it in my head, like talking about my like saviors here of like my like being in the band, for example, like that's a team. Like we're coming together to work on something as it yeah, work together, build something as a team, head in a direction, and we should all be on the same page, helping one another. But that's not how it was. Like, especially with a bunch of the people that I was in the band with, like they were actually really horrible people. They were counterproductive, always putting me down. And like just I just couldn't understand like why are they not coming together to actually like build this? Why don't they have this positive attitude like they're helping everyone up? Why are they like pushing everyone down?
So this is
And
this is one of the bands you were in?
yeah,
Okay.
and just seeing that same kind of like attitude in the workplace as well. I'm like, this is how people operate. Like they're more about like dominance and status and being mean. Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah,
And like
that's life. It sucks.
that's life. And it's just like I'm trying to like find people to like work with.
Yeah.
And then like you find people, and then like they just kind of change their mind, and like everything you're working together with kind of just falls to the ground, and it's just like, oh, okay, that was a waste of effort. Like, I'm not going to trust people anymore. I guess at the end of the day, I just need to focus on Tom, what I want and what I want to build. And that's the hardest thing for me to actually do.
Dude, I think I got a big clue about your NF just what from what you just said.
Mm.
Um on during our whole interview today, that was the first time you lighted up when you talk about finally I have a group where we can do something together. Like, dude, your eyes just like lit up. Like,
I
but
know, but like it's really is just being jaded. Like, oh,
right,
people.
I get it. But let me ask you, when you were in that band, who was the leader of the band?
His name was Shannon,
Yeah,
and he was the asshole person. And a lot of the other people were cool, but like he was the leader, and they eventually kind of developed parts of his persona and his attitude of like pushing everyone down and having a shit attitude.
right.
And I remember like at the time, like, because I was in the band for like 10 years, I remember like these people like suck, but like I should, because like I would be like, here's a song that I like, I want to play it, I wrote it, cool. Like I'll show it to them, and they'll just kind of spit on it. And I knew at the time like I should leave this band, go start my own band, but I couldn't. Like it's hard, and even now, like I look at it like, oh, that's because like I'm feminine DE, like I need permission. And even now, like I know like that's stupid, I still can't do it. I can't find my own like little gang of musicians to fucking go do something, because it being in a band, it's a lot of work, it's not easy. And it's like, do I want to put in all this effort again for like, it's not even a career, it's just a passion project.
Right.
It's a liability, it's an investment. I'm probably going to lose so much time and money into this, probably, and I have to deal with like all these people and their conflicting like attitudes and ego, and trying to like wrangle them together to actually do something. Do I want to be the leader of that? Uh, it's
Yeah.
hard.
So what's the answer? Do you want to be the leader of that or no?
I guess not really.
Not
I mean,
really.
I kind of do. I mean,
Okay. So what can you tell me about the side that kind of wants to do it? Like what's why would that side of you want to be the leader?
because I know what's best. I know what I want
Yeah.
and the direction. I mean, like, oh, I want to write music and express myself, express my personality, my emotions, my artistic style. I want to do that. And it's hard because I'm probably not as good as a musician as I probably need to be to like do that. Like what I've come to learn to being in bands is like the leader of the band is usually the songwriter, who is usually the singer. They get to call the shots. And
Right.
I'm a terrible singer. And
Yeah.
so it's like,
What do you play, by the way?
I play bass, do a little bit of guitar,
Okay.
and it's just like, well, I'm going to be writing these songs. I guess I'll be the one who's singing it, but I'm going to suck. And how am I going to get people on my side if I suck? They won't want to follow me if I suck. They only want to follow good people.
I'm just wondering why you put yourself in that box though, because I'm like, yeah,
Because it's
you can be the bass guy that make the song and someone else will sing it. Like, who put all these rules up? Like you could make your own shit up, man. Like yeah,
me. I decided that because I'm a fucking double decider. I've got this lead TE that's analyzing the spectrum and seeing how people work. I'm like, oh, okay, that's that's how all these bands are working. I need to do that. I need to up my skills to fucking do that.
yeah, but you don't have to copy what
I,
the extrovert sensing is telling you. You know, you
you're
could
right. You
yeah
are 100% correct. I'm not going to argue.
yeah
However, it's still a lot of work. Still a lot of like improvement that I'll need to do
Yeah.
for what, like playing some shows to like some dive bar, you know?
Right.
Cool. That's it's fun, it's exciting, you know. But at the end of the day, like, is that what am I going to accomplish at the end of my life? And like, you know, like music, you know, I guess is part of it, but if my whole life I'm just like playing dive bars and being an average musician, at the end of my life, I'm gonna be like, oh, I kind of wasted it, didn't I?
Dude, 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 like I'm hearing you talk right now, and I think I think you're not using your potential, your NF potential here. I think your NF should be leadership, because you're avoiding leadership role, but that's what I feel like that's what you should be. I feel like you should be the leader, because first of all, you're not an asshole. At least like maybe you're a funny asshole, but like not like a true asshole, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
then number two, you're play blast. So you have like that inner producer in you that all you need is to have a group, and then you can get it going, and you would know what's best. And I do believe that you would know what's best. Also because I'm a fellow play blast person like you. So I've been put like I've been my first time as a supervisor just like 2 years ago. There was an election in Canada. I've never been in a supervisor role. I took that role just to challenge myself to see what would happen. I'm already in my late 30s, so like it's pretty late for me to like start a leadership role. But then never too late, right? And then I did it. I was like, what the hell? This job is like I killed it. Like it was so easy, and everyone was like, oh my god, we love having you as our supervisor. Like we all got our breaks, because apparently the other supervisor, no one got their break because their time management was crap. I'm info dominant, so obviously I'm like, okay, I'm gonna space it out so that everyone can go on their break. Because I feel like if everyone goes on their break, because it was a 17-hour shift, right? The election.
Oh
So
fuck.
yeah, exactly. So if people are tired, how are we gonna be able to serve the public when they're voting and stuff, right? So I spaced it out, made sure that everyone was well rested so that they can perform at a good level, serve the public, and everyone will be happy. And yeah, we killed it. And I was like, well, what the hell? And I'm like because I'm a DE, right? I'm like I changed myself for so many years. And I started going back, like when I used to work at Burger King when I was like 18, and I was like, Kendrick, you should apply for management right away when you were 18. You would have kicked all those assholes ass that you work with, who are jerks, who are power tripping, who don't actually want to do the job, because you actually know what's right for everyone. And not saying that in an arrogant way, but you also care that everyone is like everything's going well for everyone too. So I feel like for you, because leadership is like that's like an NIF, that's like a NF concept, right? So I feel like
Mm-hmm.
maybe maybe if you dip your toes into leadership, I think you would find something about yourself that
I
yeah.
I did a temporary position as like a department manager at the supermarket. It must have been a couple of years ago now,
Yeah, how was
and
that?
it was really good. I enjoyed it. I liked having like being responsible for the department and
Yeah.
all the people in there, and actually trying to get it to run well. Um, and like they did offer me like a full time position there, but like I turned it down because it was a really shit supermarket, and like all the other managers were there were like really like selfish, horrible people. I
Yeah.
was like, I hated it there, but I liked the position. I was like, I like being in charge of that department.
Dude, it's just a stepping
But
stone. Who gives a shit? It's a stepping stone.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm like. Oh, my lamp's fucking up. I just made a mess. Awesome. Um, what was I saying? Yeah, like I did. I don't know. I forgot my point. I took up the leader position and I liked it, and I don't know. It was just like because like that was pretty much like handed to me, but to actually go to the effort of like applying for jobs and shit like that, and I'm like, oh, fuck, it's just what I really want to do. As soon as like I start thinking about stuff, I'm always like humming and hawing and can't make a decision. But it's just like whenever I presented with something, forced into something, then it's like, all right, cool. But like
That's like the EP
that's
story.
not that's not a good way to live your life. Just
Yeah,
kind of
no,
being blown around wherever the wind takes you.
yeah, that's the EP story that David Chan always talks about, right? Like for EPs, like it just fell on their lap. They're like, okay, I'll run with it because it fell on my lap. Instead of like, nope, I'm gonna take fate and I'm gonna, make it my bitch. I'm gonna take control of my fate. So, anyways, dude, we gotta wrap up the interview now. So, dude, this has been a fun interview talking to you about your NI. I know maybe it's not the funnest for you, but I
I mean,
really,
I got to do it at some point, don't I?
yeah, sorry, man, but I know I really like it, but I do appreciate you entertaining, like, talking about it, because I feel like that's not like a comfortable spot for you, and like, but it was still like, I just felt like you're you have so much potential and you're leaving it on the table. That's all I'm trying to say. Like, I'm like, dude, what the fuck,
Yeah,
like,
like you are right, and I see it.
yeah,
However, I can't get past all the things I'm scared of.
right.
It's
Well,
tricky.
I hope you kick fear in the face one day, and like, you tell me like, hey
Me
man,
too.
I'm here now, and I'm like, sweet,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. All right, man, take care, and
Cool. All right. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, take care.